Behind the spotlight of the global rap scene, shocking news lurks that has shaken fans. The living legend Eminem is now at an unexpected point in his life. From a struggling father, he is now preparing to take on a new role he never imagined. Happy news about his daughter, Hailie Jade, has changed everything in an instant. How will this touching and surprising story unfold? Stay tuned for the full story, and don't forget to leave your comment below about unforgettable moments from Eminem's life journey. On a quiet morning in Detroit, the sun had just shone through the windows of a stately home. The house was familiar to rap fans, as it was where the legend Eminem spent his time when not in the studio. The house seemed ordinary until unexpected news began to circulate. News that could change the course of the superstar's life. Eminem, known for his hard-hitting style and angry lyrics, had just woken up from a night's sleep. He leisurely walked to the kitchen to grab a cup of black coffee. On the dining table, his phone vibrated, displaying a text notification from his beloved daughter, Hailie Jade. At the time, Eminem had no idea that this text message would be the beginning of a new chapter in his life. With slightly droopy eyes, he opened the message. Hailie had written in short, yet powerful, emotionally charged sentences. The words immediately made Eminem's body stiffen. His eyes stared unblinkingly at the phone screen, his heart beating faster. He reread the message several times, making sure he wasn't hallucinating. Eminem dropped his phone onto the table, breathing heavily. His hands clutched his head, trying to comprehend what he had just read. In his heart, he felt like the world was spinning faster than usual. Hailie's words seemed to penetrate the solid walls he had built as a father and a strong man. Memories of the past flashed through his head. He remembered the first time he held Hailie's little hand, taking her to school, and even writing her name into songs that had become legendary. All the struggle and sacrifice to raise Hailie now felt like they had paid off with something far greater than mere success on the music stage. However, beneath the emotion, there was also a growing unease. Eminem wondered if he was ready to accept a new role he had never imagined. A rapper known for being tough in public, now faced with the reality of becoming a different person. The house fell silent, except for the slow ticking of the wall clock. Eminem walked to his study, turned on the light, and sat in the chair he usually used to write lyrics. But this time, it wasn't rap lines that were coming to his mind. What appeared was a vision of the future, with a tiny figure who would call him by a new name. And that's when he realized it. Hailie Jade's text message wasn't just ordinary news. It was an announcement that would change his life forever. Rap legend Eminem was about to become a grandfather. That night, the Detroit sky was dotted with sparkling stars. The streets were deserted, with only the city lights bearing silent witness to the silence. Eminem sat alone in his living room, awaiting Hailie Jade's arrival. A mixture of happiness, anxiety, and curiosity gripped him. The door finally opened slowly, revealing Hailie, who entered with hesitant steps. Her face was flushed, her eyes sparkling, but filled with nervousness. In her hand, she held a small envelope, which she seemed to be guarding closely, as if it held the key to the mystery plaguing her father's mind. Eminem rose from his chair and stared intently at his daughter. They didn't speak immediately, simply exchanging glances. The silence felt heavy, yet meaningful. Time seemed to stand still, allowing both of them to wallow in unspoken emotions. Hailie finally sat down and placed the envelope on the table. With a trembling voice, she began to speak. The words trembled in the air, filling the previously silent room. She explained that her life was about to change, that a new soul was growing within her. Eminem listened intently, though his heart churned with emotions. Every sentence Hailie spoke sent his mind back to the past, when he himself struggled to raise a child amidst the hardships of life. Now, his little daughter would walk a similar path, but with a different story. He reached for the envelope and slowly opened it. Inside was a black and white photograph, the result of a medical examination that proved everything. The blurry image showed a tiny, unborn child, a new life about to enter the world. Eminem fell silent, his eyes welling with tears. An indescribable feeling filled him, a mix of shock, happiness, and fear for the future. He tried to hide his tears, but his heart was trembling. That night witnessed a secret meeting known only to father and daughter, a meeting that bound 2 generations and marked the beginning of a new story neither of them could have imagined. The following days passed quickly. The news, initially kept secret within the household, slowly spread among close friends. Hailie experienced a change in her life, while Eminem began to adjust to the fact that his life was no longer the same. He was no longer just a father, not just a legendary rapper, but now a grandfather awaiting the birth of his first grandchild. The cold Detroit seemed to warm with this happy news. In his music studio, Eminem often pondered over a blank sheet of paper. He wrote different words than usual, no longer filled with anger or social criticism, but rather about life, the legacy of love, and the new generation that was about to emerge. One afternoon, he accompanied Hailie for a walk in a small, shady park. Fallen leaves blanketed the path. The simple atmosphere felt majestic, as it was there that the bond between father and daughter deepened. Eminem held his daughter's hand, as if giving her strength so that Hailie would never feel alone in facing the major changes in her life. Time passed, until a hopeful night arrived. The hospital became a gathering place for the small family. Hailie lay there, her face filled with courage, while Eminem waited outside, his heart pounding. The seconds seemed to drag on, as if the world were holding its breath, waiting for a tiny miracle to be born. Then, the sound of a baby's cry finally rang out, piercing the silent walls of the hospital. The cry was like new music to Eminem, surpassing all the notes and rhythms of rap he had ever created. It was tangible proof that a new generation had arrived, continuing a story he had never imagined. The door to the room opened, and a nurse carried a tiny baby wrapped in a white sheet. Heartbroken, Eminem welcomed his grandchild for the first time. He gazed at the small face and smiled, his eyes filling with tears. It was a smile he rarely saw, but that night it appeared sincere and full of love. Hailie smiled from her bed, watching her father gently hold the baby. No words were needed, for everything was already clearly etched in their eyes. A long, hard journey had finally paid off with the arrival of